Hello, this is my week 12 final assignment. To start off, this is a CRUD app. I put the entire app in a container in the body. I added a class for styling purposes, a div with some bootstrap styling, and this div will completely hold all the input fields that I will use to with ID name to retrieve the values. A button on click will call the submit function I created, and that ends the form. Then following that, I added where the employees will populate, which would be a table, and some bootstrap styling as well. So that's the basic HTML. And next is the JavaScript itself. I started with the submit function and created two variables that hold information from the local storage and data entered and read data, which will call on two functions that I created below. I defined below. And this basically just checks if the fields are empty. If not, insert the data in a new row with the insert function and passing in the data that we'll be inserting. The data entered is basically an array from the elements in the HTML, the values entered. And if the array includes spaces, return false. If not, return the array itself. So we can then use. And then this just pretty much clears the form after. Then we move on to pushing and reading the data from the local storage. I use NJE for name, job, and experience variables to set the local storage with the key and the index of the elements or the data in the array from above. So that's how we get the information in the local storage. And this is what will be showing the items in the table from that local storage. So we pass in the key and values from the variables that store that info in the local storage. So this is the key and the variable we set from above, and put that into an array variable, which we will be later using. Insert and passing in the read data, which is what the data we're getting from the local storage is. Yeah. And creating within that function a variable called row, which is just table, then insert the row function method that is inserts a row into that variable row table. That row variable. Using the insert cell with the index of the information and equal to the data that we're getting from, changing that inner text of that cell with the read data we're getting from the local storage. Then here, using some template literals, I created a button, which is on click, will edit this, which means the selected array. The selected cell and row, I'm sorry. And the button on click will remove that row. This referring to that row. And the edit function, which we pass in the value from it's not the table element, it's the value from that is within the columns, the information inside the columns. Then use the row variable and use the parent element keyword, which will help me select, will allow me to select the row I'm actually going to edit. And this basically puts the information back into the array the input areas to edit it. And yeah, it puts it back in the form using its ID dot value set to the row cells index in inner HTML. So basically what it says here. And the update function, which I had to remove this because it was creating a new row instead of updating the actual inner HTML of the row cells at the index that they pertain to. For example, 0 would be name, job would be 1, and index of experience would be 2. So I'm getting the information dot value and I'm setting it to the rows, updating the particular row. And lastly, the remove function. And I am using the method confirm, which returns a Boolean. So if the answer is true, so if they click true, yes, then the row will be deleted. The specific row, like I used above, will be deleted. And again, getting the table by ID and deleting that row at that row index. So that basically sums up. And so the submit will call those functions I created, and yeah, creating our CRUD app. I set this variable row to null as a global variable up here because in order to use it in order to use it or to call it in the submit, I need to have it set to null. So that basically sums up my array, and here's how it works. I'd enter the information, the experience, and submit. There's my new row. I can choose to edit this row and submit once more. Okay, there we go. And let me see, edit, and I'll change that to 7, submit. And as you can see, it's edited down here. And I can also add another row. Let's say I need information, any random, and delete. And I am prompted, are you sure you want to delete info? And it returns a Boolean, so it will delete and run the loop. That basically sums up my CRUD app. That's all.